Have you ever fornicated with your parole officer and subsequently got her sent to prison? But wait, it wasn't me, it was him. And on the off chance that you ever have you ever got her name tattooed on you 3 times? Before you hop in my comments and say I'm capping, the proof's going to be at the end of the video. Now, traditionally, you might think this story started at a parole office, but what if I told you it started in a hospital? So this guy, aka my brother, was laid up in the hospital due to the consequence of a drug overdose. You see, he had just been released from prison not 48 hours before, but addiction's weird like that. So he's laid up in the hospital vibing, and a woman he doesn't recognize walks in, and she says,
"Hey, I'm your new parole officer."
Now at this point, he just knew he was going back to prison, but she had assured him if he shows up at her office upon release from the hospital, no harm, no foul. Now like Vegas, what happened in her parole office probably should have stayed in her parole office, but she's already in prison for it now, so screw it. So he gets released from the hospital, and besides his better judgment, he shows up at the parole office. Now when he gets there, he's nervous as all get out. He can barely stand it. He was at the parole office, sitting in the lobby, twiddling his thumbs, probably about to defecate his pants, then he hears his name called. So they open the door, and he waddles back, and he walks in her office. Now she's sitting there across from the table, staring at him menacingly. Since they already met in the hospital, they skip all the formalities and they go straight to the paperwork. But while he's filling out his paperwork, he notices someone staring at him. He looks across the desk. It's her. So he looks at her, looking at him, looking at her, and he finally asks her, "Hey, baby, you straight?" She goes, yeah, don't worry about it. So he finishes up the paperwork, she gives him his next visit, and this is where things start to get weird. See, she gave him a number to call whenever, but the number was different than the number that was on her business card. He said, "Well, what number is this?" She goes, "Oh, that's my personal number." Now, at this time, he's thinking, is this some sort of setup? Maybe a trap? But she was hot, so he went. Wait till you see her at the end of the video. Honestly, I can't blame him. So a few nights later during creepy hours, which is traditionally from midnight to 2, he gives her a call. And sure enough, she answers, talking about some, "Hey, you." So they're on the phone, and then eventually he says, "Hey, I'm mad at you." And she's like, "Why? What's up? What happened?" He goes, "You kept me up all night thinking about you." The Riz was on point and just crazy enough to work. Eventually, he got her to agree to a platonic date in 2 cities over. Now, when she says the name of the restaurant, he didn't really put 2 and 2 together that, wow, this is out of state. This might get a little weird. In hindsight, maybe it was a formality, technicality, if you will, that she was trying to get around, but in the end, it didn't save her. So they're out on this platonic date in Georgia, and he knew it was about to get way too crazy when she started ordering both of them drinks. Like, "Hey, baby, I don't think this is in the rule book." So the drinks start going down, and as the natural progression of things occurs, she starts to loosen up a little bit. All the while assuring him that this was strictly platonic and she was not going to let him fornicate with her. At first. During this encounter, my brother was talking all this big game, staying sober, changing his life, and she was eating it up. Heck, she was his parole officer. She was going to help him. So inevitably, she drinks too much to where she's not able to drive. But my brother came up with a great idea. "Baby, just get us a hotel room." He said, "Heck, I would get it, but I don't have any money. Just got out of jail 8 days ago." Now, like the responsible parole officer she was, she didn't do anything crazy. She ordered a hotel room with 2 beds. But as soon as my brother walked in the room, he wasn't going for it. He pushed them straight together. It was on. At that point, it's on and popping. They're rocking out. Now, my brother gets a little wild. He decides to take a video. I can't even lie. In the video, my brother was doing his thing. The only thing is, when he got back home the next day and his baby mama went through his phone, she didn't appreciate it. You see, when she saw the video on his phone, she actually sent it straight to the authorities. And when I say the authorities, I mean the head of parole for the state. After this, it wasn't 48 hours later, and she was locked up for custodial sexual misconduct. For everyone who's under my videos talking about show proof, show proof, show proof, this is your lucky day.
Is this better, and he passed.
You ever fornicated with your parole officer and she subsequently got sent to prison?
Wow, Hunter, wow.
But look, it was great, epic.
I mean, I'm glad that this is your life right now. Like, I'm glad that after everything I just said, that's what you had to say to me. You're really a whole piece of shit.
Wow, that's what you said?
Are you happy with yourself? Like, does this make you feel good?
No, dude, I was just trying to tell you something crazy.
Okay, well, let's talk about something real for once, instead of avoiding everything that's reality.
That's
okay?
what it was, wasn't it? That's what it was. That's exactly what it. You're right though. That's what it was. It was me avoiding
so
it.
Stop doing that. Do you love me?
I do. No, and it's like, damn.
I wouldn't have had a problem telling you that a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago when we worked through all this. I would not have had a problem telling you
We
that.
didn't work through something you didn't speak. I tell you what though, just call me.
So when you fornicate with your parole officer and then turn it into a viral video, naturally there's going to be some questions. We got you. Becca asked, at what point did the 3 tats come in?
Great question, Becca. See, I felt guilty, decided to stay in touch, and one thing about her, she can be convincing.
Mr. Poopy Hands asked, did they let you off parole early?
No, unfortunately not. 8 more years.
Becca asked, if you got locked up after your first rendezvous, why get the 3 tattoos?
Well, Becca, really all I can say is I love her, Jerry.
Haley asked, are y'all still in contact?
Haley, well, it's kind of touch and go right now, but I'm definitely not committed to anything.
Nikki asked, why is one of the tattoos crossed out?
Great question, Nikki. See, the baby mama really ain't shit.
Abby asked, but where's his TikTok? His TikTok's going to be in the description. Run him up. Ruby asked, are you still sober? When does she get out?
Yeah, still sober, Ruby, and she gets out in, I think, in about a year.
Thank you, everybody, for the questions, comments, concerns. Believe it or not, this dude's nuts. We're going to have plenty more stories for you. Thank you, everybody. Follow for more.
Yeah.
And we go live every weekend rating profile pictures. Y'all have a great night.